Hey everybody, welcome in. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about celebrating you in sobriety. How many of you dreaded celebrations, not just celebrating other people, but also celebrating yourself, like birthdays and that kind of thing? If you were like me, you dreaded these situations for many reasons. When I was a drinker, I had really like a low self-esteem. I thought very, very low of what I could handle. My anxiety was through the roof. And so when occasions would come up where we would be going to celebrate a birthday or somebody's wedding or graduation or any of these kinds of things, my anxiety went just through the roof. I was afraid of um, the drinking that would be going on there. And even though I was a drinker, I still was fearful of how my drinking might be under the microscope and just kind of comparing myself to others and that kind of thing. So when I quit, I started to realize that one of the main focal points was going to have to be working on loving myself again if I ever did in the first place. Because I started drinking when I was 15 years old. So that was pretty early on in life. So I really just had that, young adult hood, teenage years to go by, 12, 13, 14, that kind of thing. And I'm not sure that I ever worked out where I was before I started drinking in my life. But when I got sober, I started to recognize that these celebrations were pretty cool because I had like a 30-day milestone and a 60-day and a 90-day, and these milestones that I had that I was anticipating, that I got to, that I felt accomplished with, and that I celebrated my sobriety. I was also celebrating myself. And I started to recognize after maybe like the 6 month celebration that hey, maybe I actually do enjoy these celebrations. It's just that before I was just at a place in my life where my self-esteem was low, my anxiety was just not taken care of, and so before I got to my 6 months, I was around 4 months when I had my birthday, and somebody had recently posted about being August 1st and just let's have a great August and just grow and learn and this kind of thing. And I replied on there that it's my birthday month, August 25th, and how I'm just going to spend that time. I planned 4 or 5 months ago going to a trip to Mackinac Island with my family, and that was going to be kind of a celebration weekend for my birthday, and maybe kind of like a end of summer kind of celebration for my daughter and that kind of thing. And we haven't been on a family trip in a while, so I just thought, that would be a good opportunity. But it was really just something that I realized that, I started to notice that caring for myself is huge, and actually enjoying celebrating and celebrations is such a blessing in sobriety, and not just celebrating me but celebrating others, which in turn makes me feel good. So it's really just it is a celebration of me and of just being me. And so recently I started to the last couple of years, as you know, if you're following my videos and following my story, you know that I've been growing in my faith, and my church launched a couple of years into my sobriety, and how in these past almost 2 years now, I've grown closer to my faith and closer to God and closer to believing in Jesus, and more so living a life like Jesus. And I don't want to get into too much detail, but in that this is more of a sobriety video, but um, I do want to point out that I knew most of my life that my drinking was causing me problems. I knew that if I quit drinking, a lot of the issues that I had with my anxiety and my feelings of self doubt and all these things would clear up. But the feelings of euphoria and the feelings of escape and the feelings of a buzz and whatever else comes along with drinking outweighed quitting, and it was my crutch. And in a lot of ways it was filling a gap in my life where I felt like, I was alone. I was a single guy. I um i i mean I had girlfriends and that, but for the most part, I felt like nobody really understood me. um, Nobody really understood. So I drank a lot of times to just quiet that pain and quiet those voices that were just kind of holding me back. But really, it was my own inner voice that was holding me back all that time. And so, to get back to the point being that I knew what I was doing was not right, and I knew that it was holding me back. And but a lot of people don't like to use the word sober or sobriety in the forum that I'm on, and they prefer to use like alcohol free as the terminology. And I'm finding that my life is more or less sobriety because I had problems with more things than just alcohol. And for me, this is not just about being alcohol free. This is about being free of all those things that held me back in my life. But drinking was the biggest thing that was holding me back and holding me in those patterns. And so once I quit the alcohol, I was able to grow in other areas of my life, and the sinful things that I was reaching for, that most people in our world reach for and say as an excuse everyone else does this, I started to realize that I have control over me, and I can do what I know is right. And by not drinking, these things are easier to get through, and it's not as tempting. Making the right choice feels better, and it's easier to attain. And so now that I'm growing in my faith and my sobriety, I realize that I am being sanctified through my sobriety. And I'll get into more detail about sanctification. I think in the next video, I'll make something about sanctification and just how I've come to Jesus and how it's made an impact on my life, living a life that is less about me and more about Him. And but to a point to get to that point, I had to actually celebrate me and celebrate my recovery and give myself the grace that was there all along, so that I can actually be confident enough to give my life to Christ and do God's will without taking everything to heart and everything personally on this earth. Because what I'm finding is most people on this planet are out for themselves. They fall into groupthink and they follow the herd, and I am not like that. I i find value in finding my own path, asking God what He thinks I should do. And this video came out, and this is really, I'm following what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing and what God's calling is for me. And so if you found any value in this video at all, I urge you to follow me and come on over and check out my next video. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.